can walk if you want in the center of the building, and from there is the best view onto the village of Laguardia and the vineyards, and to have better view of the building too, which is now in front and to the left.
Sense la maniego de les faules.
Muy bien.
No,
Bueno, es importante, ¿no? Hay muchos
es
hispanos
bastante para
parlantes.
comprar cosas en corte inglés.
Ah, sí. Yes, more or less, yes. So many. Topic, the Church of Santa Maria de los Reyes on the other side. So, why is pedestrian? Because Laguardia, underneath winery, wine caves, bodegas, underneath for surveying the rest of the region. So many important. But this is the winery that we are going to visit later after the visit of Laguardia. Side, right on the left. The former one, and this is the Basque flag and the flag of Laguardia. So come out and they dance the traditional. So that's pronounced, yes. For instance, the word etzea, which means we have these walls, and it's so narrow, so that they could even, show. Actually, you have to reserve in advance to go inside because they have something quite valuable here. What happened? We have the entrance with the archivolts decorated, made in the 14th century, but because the altar of the church is in fact here, behind this place here. So although the entrance church is on the other side, the altar here, the apsis here, and the back part on the left side. To Raquel, and she will do the visit here in.
Okay, very well. One disease called phylloxera. The phylloxera was a kind of insect, and it was terrible. Destroyed the 95% of the European vineyards. And the phylloxera arrived here, but first has arrived to France. And in the 18th century, the French people were the people with the more modern techniques to make wine and with the best marketing. And with the phylloxera. To make the ventilation of the winery. Please come here, or chips, inside my tank, and my wine is going to take smells and flavors. that in Rioja is forbidden. If we put the wines in the barrels, is to make long. To make this wine, we only take the grapes that came from the oldest vines, and this wine is going to be 15 months making the oak aging inside the new French barrel. And we don't make this wine every year, only when the harvest is special. It's our top wine, our premium wine. Some tall glasses. First of all, we are going to take the short glass, okay? Only take, don't shake it. I'm going to tell you why. This wine.
Dark cherry.
Very well. Strawberry, cherry. We need to think that to make the wine, we are going to take the grape. And the grape is a kind of
I just tried it. I didn't sleep solid. Because I just don't. I know. I wake up after 3 or 4. With your bottle, hold your bottles up. Oh, stop with that.
Oh, you can see that's going down there a couple of meters. So from the top to the bottom, from the highest to the lowest point, there are 35 meters. 35 meters divided up in 7 vertical levels. In general, there are 15,000 square meters to produce the wine just by gravity. Capacity 2,000 kilos. When they are full of grapes, too strong movements. So, the architect sees the wine is from these smaller tanks refilled into this. It should be at the end of December, the beginning of January. The wine is back the first time. So, from barrel. So, these wines never spend time in oak barrels. They are bottled in spring after was the question, which type of wood do we use? Actually, 80% of all these barrels you can see down there, barrels from Rioja. For all the other wines, we prefer the French oak.
Just stunning, isn't it? Just. It's cold out here, isn't it?
Bottles, so they produce 500,000 bottles per year. That's the total production of Baigorri. It will take about 20 years to be finished. So here again, some other old factories that are the remains of the industrial period of the city of Bilbao, but most of them closed down. Are there in Baracaldo. So from here you see as well very well this industrial scenery that we have here in Bilbao of this place. So you can see there on the left a small harbor too. This is the sailing well. The oldest man who has taken part into the world race in a sailing boat. They go all around the world.
On the ship, because believe it or not, the cover the covering is being considered mostly an Austrian architect. And then closer to us, shopping Pali, it hosts Iberdrola, the fourth most important energy company in the world, established in the city of Bilbao in the year 1902, in the joint venture in between some British entrepreneurs. Lots of sediments because we no longer drag the river. It is a pity. Of course, Guggenheim Museum by Franco Ingeri, Pritzker Prize 1986, the first building in the world being designed with the help of a computer program, a CADC. We will later be talking about the fact that Guggenheim Museum was to be designed by a top architect in the world, but due to the fact that it was to council to provide for a spot where he could build something. And it is ahead of us onto the other bank of the river, where he's built his deluxe apartment complex with 7 buildings, 2 of which are local, no terminal for international airport in the city of Bilbao, as well as a new control tower. This bridge is built in white concrete, steel and glass. Glass is what covers the area for the pedestrians to walk on. And it brings you to the other bank of the river, where you have not only a line of tram units, Arata Isosaki. Isosaki managed to maintain some parts of the outside facade of a pre-ex. This one, ahead of us, the bridge in City Council Hall area, the opening has been blocked up since 1950, kilometers and a half up the river, but this used to be a sand beach. As a matter of fact, the whole quarters of the city is but a huge deposit of sediments.
The city, all throughout the Middle Ages and up to nowadays, it's always been designed in a very British way. Ways of construction. So that's why you do have very few examples of French architecture anymore. This is the old theatre, Rioja Theatre. As an anecdote, when we were to build a new convention center, Palace of Music, the convention center we've just driven past. How close Basque and Spanish are related. The languages that was later to be called Roman, but we got Greek. That was later to evolve into Danish, Norwegian, English, German, all that. Okay? Whereas Basques was a body of linguists and historians of the language that take care of how new words, new structures coming from any of the languages in the world, in English, have to be used in our language. For example, white striped flag is the one of the local double-leg football or soccer team in Bilbao. Last, because you are, believe it or not, now on the pilgrimage track to Santiago. De todos los santos Juanes. You have to remember that out of the founding fathers to the Jesuit order, 2 of them were Basques, St. Francis of Xavier and St. Ignatius of Loyola. So it's only logical. The street for the soldiers to go around the walls, it is set to defend the city from attacks, but this is not correct. Most people think, when thinking old bridge or a couple of toll gates, where people coming to Solvang were British but Catholic, most commonly Irish people. Okay? But this main street was no longer to be kept. There is the Gothic Church of San Antonio, which is the church that comes in the coat of arms in the city of Bilbao. The church and they suffered quite a lot and they were pushed towards the outside. In 85 years, the church. It is true that in the 16th century these pillars managed to stop the sinking, but it is also true that they suffered quite a lot. We got no longer 4 steps, but 3 steps, because it was no, but you still have 3 steps to get.
to the bank of the river
Any other trees in
from
any other trees?
1876 onwards. Something else on Guggenheim. So I haven't forgotten about that. To your right, again, deluxe apartments by Arata Isozaki from Japan. He tried to get Bilbao. Why Guggenheim? Why Gary? And we will obviously be getting into different galleries for, to see art. But there is no possible way that you can visit the whole thing. Sculpture of a West Highland Terrier dog. It's not my broken English. Okay, 12.10 centimeters, 12 meters 10 centimeters high, 37 feet high, with in between 40 to 50,000 flowers. There is no possible way. There it is, just ahead. This is main entrance. To your right, down the long staircase, some 16 meters below. But when you see Guggenheim Bilbao,
Okay. Right. Xavi, I think probably didn't introduce much about the building itself or the institution. Well, a quick introduction then, especially to the institution, his buildings as art works. He thinks of them as big abstract sculptures. Okay, and the colour and light, which are really connected. So, and that's really a function of the materials. So he obviously chooses his materials very carefully. What we can see inside, well, glass to let that light in, plasterboard, limestone, and more glass. The glass isn't just used for window shape. He's a very, very clever man. He, instead of just throwing rubbish away, he'll look at it. What's the form that it makes? And rubbish can actually look at it next time before you throw it away. It can actually make some. There's a kind of a visual link. From that side, it looks as if the whole building's floating.
The spider.
Okay, well, there's some of the larger sculptures are located outside. So we have Louise Bourgeois' spider, Jeff Koons' balloons, a big abstract work by Anish Kapoor, and one of the arts. A lot of important writers, but maybe better known in the German-speaking world, and the visual arts too, of course. That in the art. And it's had some unusual consequences for a lot of things. Anyway, let's go. Very natural. And of course, we have to recognize the surface here. Okay, and again the curves and the light and the dark, all these things. I think we're.
To the eye, and so complicated. It's impossible to imagine designing it.
it is great for us.
That's for kids.
But people still stand in the middle of the second drawbridge in the city. This one still opens, no longer to allow ships up and down the river, but at least to make the mechanism of it still be kept on working, as it is a patrimony of the city. Now to our left, you have a new shopping center by Dean of Architecture, University of Yale, and the most prominent critic for contemporary architecture now, Robert Stern. Ahead of us and to the left with the Hollywood Tower, this is Meliá Hotel Bilbao, by the most prominent Mexican architect up to some 5. It's got 12 rooms, the largest. Seats not much, but seats 2,800 people. And it's just immense conventions, or you can just host different smaller conventions. There is always something going on in here. It is used at least 362 days a year. For them to spend winters in, they renamed this spot as Neguri. Neguri stands in Basque for the town in winter.